my cousin, Simone Lewis, owner of Soul Flipping Good. Soul Flipping Good is a cheerleading and tumbling service, instructing service for all ages, of course. But I'm not going to go. I'm not going to, spill the beans because I'm going to let Simone Lewis, owner of Soul Flipping Good, explain. So, Simone Lewis, what inspired you, right, to be the owner, to create Soul Flipping Good?
Well, I've been doing this for a long time and coaching other places and being coached by other people. I feel like it was time for me to open up my own gym. It's actually been a real dream of mine, but now I'm finally stepping out and going to really do it. So I'm pretty excited about it.
So, what is soul like? Why the name Soul Flipping Good?
I wanted something that was catchy and creative. Really, something that people would just think about without even thinking about it. Soul flipping good. Like, that sounds nice. It's actually soul flipping good athletics, but for sure, I just call it soul flipping good. So I just wanted something that really had meat in it, something that had a bit of flavor, a little bit of style. Involved the word flip to know that like something is happening upside down, and the word good is just like, we're gonna have a good day, it's gonna be fine. That was good, you know.
All right. So, what is some of the core values that you have when it comes to instructing about coaching and tumbling? What are some things
Um,
that you like to instill in your students?
I really like to instill never giving up. I like to instill hard work. I like to really try and give like life lessons in cheerleading so they know that it's not just about flipping and dipping, but really doing things with a purpose. That's what I tell them. Don't do anything without a purpose. What's your why? What's your reason? You're doing this stunt and you're not thinking about it and it's falling, but you don't have a why. There's no reason, there's no thought. If you concentrate, focus, like also just loving love, like I want to instill, like, as much as I get excited and I'll be loud and crazy, I do love all of you guys. So don't interpret that as I'm very aggressive. I tell kids, like, I come off really strong. Like, one day I'm like, ooh, and then 30 seconds I'm like, "Grr," and they're like, whoa, you just switched. I'm like, but I told you. I'd say, do you want me to transform? You don't want that. And they go, no, we want fun Coach Simone. And mean
Right.
Coach Simone isn't crazy. She just you pushed all the buttons. You knew. I always tell them, I tell you, I know like the things you have to do, what's going to get you there, and how to do it. Now it's up to you to do it. Now that's not a Coach Simone problem that you have to do 50 more jumping jacks because you didn't keep your teammate accountable for cleaning on the number one and they clean on the number seven.
Hmm.
Don't be mad at me that you have to do jumping jacks. That's that person's problem, and they're on your team, so you need to motivate them and encourage them that they can do it or work as a whole. I really try and force teamwork
Right. So you really
too.
encourage teamwork. You really encourage like collective work and making sure that everybody just does their part so that, you could just ultimately, like you said, have fun, not just about winning, but just have fun and do what you need to do
I really use the
ultimately.
Remember the Titans movie as a good
Mm.
example of like Coach Boone. That's the kind of coaching that I like. Crazy,
Hmm.
but fun. You're
Right.
flirting with crazy a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, but
But you're not gonna make the people cry. You're not gonna make no child cry.
most of the time they cry, it's because they're getting frustrated, not because
Right.
I'm being mean. The tears aren't because I hurt anyone's feelings. It's because they're frustrated because
Hmm.
these kids want instant gratification right now.
Hmm.
That's why they cry. They cry
Right.
because they didn't get what they wanted, and that's not my fault.
So is
If
that
you
important for parents to understand that when they sign up their kids for Soul Flipping Good, that while you do acknowledge children and them having emotions like frustration
and I
and not wanting to do, but
and I
like you
always
said, like what's that
yeah.
understanding that parents need to have?
Right, and I'm very vocal. I
Mhm.
talk, I communicate with the kids. If someone's crying, I get down low. I ask why. I'm not just like a mean bear. Yeah, I'm not gonna shun you for crying. Like you don't need to cry. You're crying because what I'm saying is true. You're not crying because I hurt your feelings. You're crying because it hits. Because
Mhm.
whatever I'm saying to you, you know in the deep down of your soul that you aren't trying the best that you could, and and and
Mhm.
that's okay. So just try harder next time. And I always say, I'm not upset. I don't know why you're crying, because if 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 I was upset, you would know. And you're crying over me just saying 1, 2, 3. There's more
Mhm.
to that. And I
Right.
asked the kids. So there's more to just tears. And usually they start off crying and end up laughing.
Right. Right.
And they understand. They understand why, like the why. Like they're
Mm.
crying, and then I ask them why and I explain, and then they get it. And there's no problem. The
So
tears stop.
you're really gifted at helping a child walk through their emotions and then get
Right.
to their goal. And then, like you said, they're laughing. So your concern is not really making them like, the best. Your concern is how they can do their own personal best. So you're
Always. You
not
can't.
concerned with perfectionism. Like you're concerned with like making sure that your child has you as an instructor, that you're talking about, I want your child to be you, as
Yes.
opposed to
And the
like,
best somebody else. I
right.
want them to be the best them they can be. If they start off in level 1, they get to level 7, great. But if they
Hmm.
start at level 1, they end at level 3. But that's the best they could do for their level. Everybody learns at a certain pace. So everyone's max ending is their max ending. And that's what I would tell a parent. If like, I really want my kid to do this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but with where their learning path is, and I can get them there, but it's going to take a little bit more time, and you're going to have to be a little bit more patient. Now
Okay, so
everybody get.
with that said, like, how can tumbling help? Let's say if a child may not be interested, like I want to do tumbling, but I may not want to do cheerleading. Well,
Oh
okay, can
yeah.
how can tumbling and cheer, like, okay, even if they want to do tumbling and cheerleading, let's just say not want to do tumbling and cheerleading, I'm sorry.
They just want to
How
tumble.
can your instruction still help them in other sports and other activities?
Oh, tumbling is great. I mean, it helps with everything. I mean, you're going to be limber, you're going to be flexible, you're going to have good agility. You know what I mean? Picking up your feet fast, good for football, good for soccer, being able to run on your toes, good for track. They actually say bow-legged kids with their toes inward make the best sprinters because their body is constantly at a lean forward when they're running. So they're going this way, they're
Mhm.
closer to the floor, so they actually run faster because they're on their toes and they run light. Those are the best tumblers. I'm bow-legged, my or pigeon-toed, excuse me, pigeon-toed. I'm a very fast runner. But it's because my feet are in and I walk on my toes, so always going, or
Right.
but things like that, and also it's just good for, like, I was pigeon toed, but when I tumbled,
Hmm.
my feet were straight. Well, I'm 30 years old and I still walk, my feet are all crooked, but when I do a tumbling pass, everything is perfectly straight, feet
Hmm.
in right alignment, nothing is crooked, period. But
So
walking every day.
right. So you've been tumbling. So like you've been cheerleading for like 20 plus years, practically your entire life,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
in that time, you've been cheerleading on and coaching in predominantly white teams.
Hmm.
And what is that experience? We all have of course positive experiences, the nine, but some anti-blackness that you experienced? What is some racism that you experienced being in a predominantly white team? What are some current trends that you saw when it came to instructing you as a black girl cheerleader, all these white girls, and you got all these white coaches? Not to say everybody's racist, but
No.
we still want to put into light at your experience, some of our conversations we've had, so you could shed light on that.
Well, I cheered in two separate times. So I cheered when I was in high school, and then I cheered when I was out of high school, and I went on an all-star team. So when I was in high school, it was it was teachers or people that went to school with you that were teachers that were now coaches. So sometimes you had teachers that like knew your education background. So based off that, you were already dubbed down. Oh no, Simone. Okay, it's cute. Like she can flip and stuff, but I don't know if she's like smart enough, to be able to learn the stunt sequence. I don't know if she's strong enough to be able to do this or that. So my first year cheerleading, as a freshman, I was only a front spotter, which is like kind of like you really don't do very much, but it's like, oh, you can front. Sophomore year, they had me as a side base, a second base. Yeah, second. And I did fairly well. I was actually in a position, so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
cool. And then my the end of my sophomore year, my teammate, one of them decided that they were going to pretend that they were hurt. So then they were forced to have me try to back spot, and I didn't do it all season. I never did the stunt, and I learned it in one practice. And they all realized I got to back the best flyer with the two best bases, and they go, "I don't know what we've been doing this whole time, but Simone needs to back spot like now." So it took other kids to be like, "No, she's the best back we have." Like, so then I just had to shadow this other chick, and I love. She was very nice to me. She's one of my friends on the team, but one of them. But I was like, I'm gonna watch her back. So I literally learned all of my backing just from watching her. Didn't really ask her many questions, just literally watched everything she did. And then I became one of the best backs on the team. And then I really started to see like racism kind of in cheer. Like even when I was a kid, like I remember I was in a jump spot and my jumps were pretty good, and they were better than the girl in front of me. But one of the coaches was like, we should move her, and they like had a big quarrel happen, and I never got moved. I stayed point back, but whatever else. And then even I have a sister. She was very talented. She hurt her knee and everything else, but when she was younger, she was very talented, and I could see how even though she was the best, no one else was giving her the credit. She would jump and then she'd be a whole body ahead of somebody else, but the girl would be here. And then so think I never had to experience that because I wasn't uh, extraordinary. So um, they used me where they could and then hid me where they wanted to. But if that's the thing with being a black cheerleader, you're like or just the level. If you're like up here, you're gonna see me everywhere. Angel Rice's and all those like people like that, like different cheer people in the cheer world that are black. Like the one in a few. And if you're extraordinary, you're out there. Like Kira Nolan, Google her. She's amazing. She's one of the first like black cheerleaders that was like, she was a flyer. She was a power tumbler. She was killing it at like 8. Angel Rice is the same way, like just a beast. These are like now they're like in college now and older, but that was like my generation of seeing people that looked like me that were tumbling. It's like, oh, that's cool. But when I went to my other gym and that when I was older, I saw some like, everyone had to be tan. Why does everyone have to be, it looks good on the light so no one looks pale, blah, blah, blah. But everyone's like, get to be as tan as Simone. And I'm like, everybody wants to be black, but no one wants to be called the N word. And everybody went silent. And they were like, I'm like, no, you guys want to be black, but no one wants to be black when it's not cool. Like when you're getting pulled over or things like that. And they all got silent. So that was kind of, or even with hair things too. Hair has to be straight in a ponytail.
So you
Y'all think
couldn't
you
wear
just,
an afro in a competition because it's not, it
no,
couldn't,
no,
your edges can
n-
be on this
no,
in
no,
a competition.
no. I had to wear a hairpiece,
Mm-hmm.
in a ponytail and slicked up. And then one year I got to wear my natural hair, but it wasn't curly. It was straight.
Mm.
And then I did braids. Um, and then one year I got extensions and I was at a world championship competition. We ended up getting fourth that year, which is not that bad. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up getting these braids in my hair, which took off my equilibrium. So all these flips I can do without the braids. I
Mm-hmm.
never practiced them with the braids. So
Mm.
every skill I didn't land. And that was because my coach said that he wanted me to get braids. So I was up from 9 p.m. to 4 in the morning getting my hair braided. Had to wake up at 5 o'clock, so we only get 2 hours of sleep. Get all dolled up with this hair that's all the way down to my back, and
Mm-hmm.
then tumble and land to that I've never practiced, and then eat it. Like my face hit the mat like every time on
Mm-hmm.
like the national on the world stage. I was like 11 and a half points of deductions on the first day. Then I got called
Wow.
up by one of the gym owners because I who why'd you get this wig on your head? What's this freaking wig on your head for? In front of like one of their like teams that just won worlds the following year, like before like, a bunch. It's like I just got like totally embarrassed by like her in front of like 30 or 40 people that
Right.
are from this gym, my teammates, other parents, other kids, other athletes, other owners.
Right.
Like I just got reprimanded in front of everyone for something that wasn't even my choice.
Right. So those current trends when it comes to white coaches and, being able to have agency, control over your hair, being able to say, well, because you're black, like it looks like you can do this rather than this.
Well, even my first year on the All Star team after not cheering for a few years, when all the girls and we all started to get to know each other, when they all saw me, and I came in, one of the girls said, "Oh, I thought when you first got here, I thought my dance spot was totally taken when I saw you, but now I know you can't dance, so I'm not worried about it." And I was like, I may not be the best dancer, but I have a wonderful, a two-to-full, a jump through the full, standing whip handspring full, a round up handspring full, a double full, punch front tuck through the full, jumps to tuck. I can back anyone on the team. So like, yeah, I can't dance, but what about all the other stuff?
Right. Other stuff that is just as important in
Just as
cheerleading
important,
as
right?
anything.
Like lifting you up in the air,
Right. So
right?
because
Like
of their anti-blackness that they already had prior to you coming, instead of evaluating you for your physical abilities of, like you said, tumbling and flipping and doing all that that you do, they're just like, oh, you can dance. Oh, you
you
can
jump
dance, but
good,
you could do this.
right?
So it's kind of like they rather be anti-black, they rather be racist rather than actually look out for the team and utilize you for your talents, your
Ability.
strengths to add on to their talent. Coaching goes out the window and anti-blackness is right there. And
It's
it's
like
so
it's
crazy
even
that that's not the sum of your experiences, but it's a part of your
it's a part of
experiences
it.
in a sense where you could now, like you said, like you're now a whole owner of like Soul Flipping Good, where like you could now be in a preliminary example of how you're just like, all right, whatever to that, and I could actually do it and I could do it better because they
Right.
told you a lot what you could not do in your experiences, but now you're like, this is what I can do.
This is what I can do. I,
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly. So how do parents so if I'm a parent and I got my child and all over the place, my child is climbing up on things, my child just all kinds of things are going on, and I live all the way in Texas, or I live in Alaska, or I live in Hawaii, like how do I get to you? Like what do I need to do?
Um, you can email me, soulflippinggoodathletics@gmail.com. That's SoulFlippinGoodAthletics
It's down below the description, y'all, but we
Yeah,
just
but
have to spell it
let me
out
just,
because
in
yeah.
case you never know.
Exactly, exactly. So, as an instructor, what does self-care look like for you? How do you take care of yourself after dealing with children, after dealing with parents, after dealing with you as a new business owner, getting your facts and figures and all together? How do you take care of yourself? How do you honor yourself?
I like to relax at home, hang out with my cats, see my friends. I'm a social butterfly. Um, I'm pretty homey. I'm pretty simple. I like the simple things of life.
Nice.
That's pretty much
Okay.
it.
And one last thing. So, for all the black magic out there, all the students who are on predominantly white teams, all my black and brown or kids of color on these predominantly white cheerleading teams that may have had some similar experiences as Simone Lewis, of course, owner of Soul Flipping Good. What are some things? Give us a word of advice that you would say to the cheerleader out there.
Well, I would say never give up. Don't worry about what other people are doing. I focused on how much I love cheerleading, so I let the haters hate and wiped them off me and just listened to my music and went to practice. That was my zen spot. So I just Didn't care who was in my group, who was around me. I was about doing what I needed to do because this was my time. That is my self care. Is cheer practice. Is doing the counts, going to spot, running this, running that, and just trying your best and not trying to compare yourself to anyone else because you're not like them and you won't be. So just make you the best you can be. You're gonna stand out no matter what. You're a person of color.
Exactly.
They already see you. So now make them look at you for a reason why they can't. Not because if you're the best one, keep rocking it. If you need work and you need to keep working at it, keep working because listen, they're sleeping on you. They're sleeping on you. Let them sleep.
Exactly.
Let them
Exactly. And
sleep
guess what, y'all? Y'all are
and
sleeping
get
on
yours.
Simone. Y'all are sleeping on Simone. Y'all are sleeping on Simone. Parents, it does not, you just heard it. It doesn't matter where you are, right, Simone? It does not
Mm-mm.
matter now, age, like, child got to be able to, like, go to the bathroom now.
That's
But
why we say three.
doesn't matter what age, doesn't matter at all. Please email her, hit her up. She is accepting new clients. I feel like the last time I talked to you, you said you got a couple, like you're getting booked up, right?
Oh
This
yeah,
some
I'm no, no, I want all the people. It's going quick, but please let me know I'm here.
Yes, so she is here. She is here, guys. So unicorn. So you have it. Thank you, Simone. I love you
Love you,
so much.
Stinky.
All right. And again, make sure you hit her up. You have kids out there that need tumbling lessons, that need cheerleading instructions, that you got a team that you want to go ahead and up and do its thing. Hit up
Wow.
Simone Lewis, owner of
Right
Soul
here.
Flipping Good. Thank you so much, Simone. Love you,
Thank
babe.
you. Love you.